anybody that knows Rob Manfred could care less what Rob Manfred has to say. All right. Because Rob Manfred probably has his own aspects of the, balls and strikes. And him liking that, the only reason why Bryce Harper likes that is because Bryce Harper, definitely controversial. I do believe technology is going to take over this game. I think technology is going to take over all sports. And that's what's going on. These new rules, these new changes of the rules, it all works in the technology favor. AI is really taking over. As we've spoken about that when it comes to radio, it's changing the world. And we're going to have machines running the world probably in the next 15 to 20 years. We will be alive. We will be old men, but we will have the opportunity to see it. But the way the game works, and you see how everything works when it comes to the TV screen and how they're finding strikes and balls and stuff like that. Why do you need an umpire? An umpire makes mistakes. An umpire makes bad mistakes, which cost teams a championship. We've seen this over the years. And we've also seen umpires make mistakes that cost teams an opportunity to challenge calls. So I look at what Bryce Harper is saying and other players have said over the last couple of years when this story was coming out, when they were trying to bring technology into the game, that some people like it and most people don't. Now, the reason why I don't like it is because baseball has worked forever. Baseball's been around for over 100 years. And when Babe Ruth played 100 years ago, you didn't have technology. There was no such thing as technology. Stadiums were bigger. Bats were heavier. I mean, balls didn't have the juice in them. What we see in baseball now is completely different than what we've seen, or I wasn't alive for, in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. And now you have European players and you have Spanish players taking Hispanic players taking over the league. And now African Americans should play and are considered as good of players as white players. It's a different game than it was in the 20s and the 30s. And that definitely changes. They're more athletic now than they were in those days. Pitchers are throwing over 100 miles per hour. In those days, pitchers were throwing 78, 80-something miles per hour, throwing off-speed pitches that weren't going over 50. Game is different. That's just the way the game works. And there are going to be changes for the better and for the worse. Players are going to speak out. And because Bryce Harper has been one of the faces of baseball, and he is one of the faces of baseball, people are going to listen. Now, I have said this over and over and over again. Baseball is always going to back up their stars, as they did for Ohtani when he was a part of that whole betting scam. I just think that Bryce Harper, when he speaks, people listen, players listen. Owners listen, executives listen. So I just think that, when you look at the umpires, I do believe umpires should be paid more, especially the good ones. Yeah. I do. I agree with them. Just as much as players are getting overpaid, I think umpires should be overpaid. Now, some of these umpires, they are umpires during the season, and then in the offseason, they're lawyers. They still have to make money. They still have to support their families. So I think that if umpires are making a little bit more money, they don't have to worry about their other jobs. The younger, up-and-coming good umpires could concentrate and strategically learn the game a little bit better and the rules a little bit better that can help, obviously, the game move forward in the big picture. I think that you look at baseball, and it is growing. I think there's a lot of great young superstars in the game that we come to love. Aaron Judge being one of them, Bryce Harper being another, Shohei Ohtani being another. Mike Trout's still a star in the league, even though he's not the player he once was. And now you have other guys like Fry and all these other guys, Corbin Burns, these guys, these stars right in front of our eyes. I think that baseball and Rob Manfred need to figure out what works for the game. What is better for the game? Is these AI, the AI technology that they want to bring to the game better for the game? These pitch counts and these pitch clocks. I know a lot of pitchers have come out and said that this is hurting the game. It's hurting the pitchers. And by the way, now you can challenge pitch, balls, and strikes. How does this help speed up the game if you're going to be able to challenge that? Umpires take forever to decide, going to New York and trying to figure out if the guy's out at second base or third base, if they're getting challenged, or if it's a home run. It takes forever. So how does this work?